Live and direct from Midland, Texas, Jessica McClure is up.
This week, People magazine had the opportunity to sit down and talk to Jessica McClure Morales. She is baby Jessica to the world.
30 years ago, Jessica fell down a well and was trapped down there for several days, 58 hours to be exact. It became an international sensation.
Jessica is talking to us about her life now and what it was like for her to live really her entire life being known as baby Jessica.
The term baby Jessica, it is still an everyday thing. I have people that's how they associate me. I actually told a lady the other day at work that I was the little girl that fell in the well, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're baby Jessica." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am."
In 1986, Jessica McClure Morales was born to Sissy and Chip McClure in Midland, Texas.
Jessica's parents were 18-year-old kids who had gotten married, and so, this was a young couple just starting out.
Then on October 14th, 1987, 18-month-old Jessica was playing in the backyard. Her mom took a minute to run inside and answer a phone call, and in that split second, Jessica slipped and fell into the well.
My right leg was stuck up above my head, like in a split.
The well was 22 feet deep and only 8 inches wide, so there was no easy way to just reach down and pull her out.
After the first initial responders got to the well, others began arriving, and they were shocked by how difficult they felt it was going to be to get her out.
This is still a very dangerous procedure. It is a time they want to be very careful with it. They do not want anything to go wrong here.
They started to lower flashlights and call to her and figure out how far she was down there, if she was even still alive. And they were so grateful to hear her crying.
As the hours turned into days, the country became transfixed on the situation. Everybody was watching.
We've been anxious. The eyes, the hearts, the minds of people around the world have been on Jessica McClure underground in Midland, Texas.
At that point, baby Jessica was dubbed everybody's baby. People sent cards, money, toys, flowers, anything they could do to donate and give support to this family.
Rescuers eventually drilled a vertical shaft parallel to the well and then bored a horizontal tunnel through solid rock.
The rescuer had to be very careful because one wrong pull, he could snap her spine or he could kill her.
Then, after an exhausting 58 hours, Jessica was finally pulled from the well.
Jessica McClure is up. She's alive. What a fighter.
She was alive, and the whole country was absolutely ecstatic. It could have been a lot worse, and the story of baby Jessica captured the heart of America. Jessica got to meet President George H.W. Bush, and of course, there was a TV movie made. It was a story that the whole country could really get behind.
They remodeled my entire foot because it was up above my head for 58.5 hours. I've got all the original magazines. I have handwritten letters.
Today, 30 years after her dramatic rescue from a well in Midland, Texas, Jessica McClure Morales keeps her baby Jessica memorabilia close.
The doll is from Oprah. These are the photos from when I met George Bush.
But she has no memory of the traumatic event itself.
The first time that I found out I was baby Jessica, I was 4, maybe 5 years old. I used to watch a show called Rescue 911. I remember thinking, oh, that's awful, how sad, that must be so horrible for that child. And I remember being told that was me and breaking down and crying, in disbelief.
Jessica's accident left permanent scars. In total, she underwent 15 surgeries.
My entire foot, because it was up above my head for 58.5 hours.
With her foot raised up for such a long time, it developed gangrene. Basically, it had died.
The doctors came in and said that probably the best thing to do would be to amputate it. And Dr. Tubb said, I have an idea and I think I can save it. And he saved it. It's all mine except for my pinky toe.
Doctors took skin from her right hip to help reconstruct her foot. And then she also has a scar across her forehead from the fall.
I have a bald spot in the back of my head. From when I'd get tired, they said that I'd rest my head forward on the pipe and then rest it backwards on the pipe. And while they drilled, the vibration caused it to split the skin open.
Aside from some scars, a lost pinky toe, and some rheumatoid arthritis, Jessica recovered fully. And because of the generosity of so many people all across the country, all of her surgeries wound up being paid for.
Many, many people donated into a trust fund for her that her mother oversaw for a good period of time.
She started with $1.2 million, but after the stock market crash in 2008, that dwindled to $300,000 or so. But all of it has gone to a good cause. She was able to buy her house, she paid for a good education, so she's happy with where she is and what she has now.
When my husband and I first started dating, he did not know who I was at all. We would say love at first sight. About a month into our relationship, we were already engaged. And still, he has no clue who I am. And he goes to his sister one day and tells her, I think I'm gonna dump her. I'm falling in love with her, I wanna be with her. But he said every time we go somewhere, all these people just come up to her and they always wanna talk to her. And she was like, you don't have a clue, do you? And he was like, no, what are you talking about? And she told him, well, she's baby Jessica. She's a little girl that fell in well in '87 here in Midland. He was like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense. A typical day in my life is getting up early to go to work, Monday through Friday. I work at the Greenwood Independent School District.
Jessica tries to keep a low profile, but when people do recognize her, the question she gets asked a lot is, did you go back to the well? And in fact, she has.
Makes me feel lucky that I survived it and happy that I did. That I can come back here 20 years later and say, hey, it couldn't cage me then, why should it cage me now?
Seeing the well for the first time, it was hard, but it wasn't, upsetting.
There's a stone that's been placed over the well now that has a memorial to her that's been engraved there.
To me, it's a symbol that it could have taken my life, but it didn't. I had God on my side that day.
There are people that come from far away to see it and to wonder about how this could have happened 30 years ago, but it's sealed off and there's no way that it will happen again.
I'm hoping that for my children as they get older, to learn from the historic event that has happened in my life, to always be humble, to never forget where you came from, and to realize that you can't take life for granted. You really can't, because at any point in time, it could be gone.